What's going on, my friends? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. I want to talk about a few things today, and then we'll answer questions like always. The first thing I'm actually going to talk about is going to be the Michael Jordan situation. I think it's a lot lighter of a topic, so we'll start with that since it's a little maybe less controversial on my page. So we'll start with that and talk about. I've been watching the Michael Jordan documentary. It's fantastic, and they did a little piece in the last episode of the Michael Jordan documentary where they had Barack Obama and a few other people, and they basically shamed Michael Jordan for not supporting a Democrat, but they left out some extremely important historical context of that senator and the Democrats. So I want to talk about that first. We'll start on a lighter note, talk about the MJ documentary and how they used Barack Obama to really distort history and shame Michael Jordan for not being a Democrat. Second thing I want to talk about is mass testing, why that's not the solution or the answer, and how if people don't understand the game they're playing, no matter who says it, I really just don't care if it's Newsom or Trump, and for some reason this is really starting to bother, people who support the president. But until people understand the basic math of the testing and why the numbers are what they are, this is never going to end. So it's pretty important if you want to open your business, get back to normal, and not wear a mask until, 2029, I think it would be wise to understand this, or you could just yell at me, that's fine too. And the third thing I want to talk about on that note before we answer question is, when it comes to conservatives and liberals, I've watched the liberals in this country just rapidly spiral out of control. I mean, I don't think liberals know what they believe anymore. And as somebody who used to lean left-ish, maybe, at a certain point, there used to be like a core foundation of things that they fought for, unions, and they just went overboard. I don't know that they even know what they believe anymore, and it's a little bit frightening. And it's starting to happen on the right wing. I think this pandemic and, Trump's, how he's been acting has put a lot of people into like a spiral of starting to act like liberals. They'll call me a leftist, but I actually believe in what conservatives pretend to believe in. Like if I'm a Democrat 10 years ago and I say, listen, I believe in unions, I believe in higher welfare programs, I believe in enforcing illegal immigration, and then all of a sudden the Democrats flip and they say, now we're for illegal immigration. I didn't change. I'm still a Democrat from 2006. I'm not saying I am. I'm in this theory. I'm still a 2006 Democrat. I believe in exactly what we used to believe in, but now you guys just flipped. You don't even believe in free speech anymore. I'm a free speech liberal, and you don't believe in free speech. It's the same with the conservatives. I'm now somehow an outcast or an outlier and a minority, so to speak, in the conservative Trump movement because I actually believe in what they have told people for the last 2 years that they claim to believe in. But as soon as you have a leader, whether it be Hillary Clinton, Obama, Chuck Schumer, I guess, Don Lemon, who I don't know who they're listening to over there. And once they change their mind, I guess everyone just goes with them and ignores what they've been saying. It's starting to seem that way on the right wing because I'm very consistent. I'm trying to explain to people why this is important and why it's never going to end. And all of a sudden, we have to ask the question: do conservatives actually believe in what they have told people they believe in? Because I'm not quite sure that many of them do. So those are the three stories. We'll start with the MJ documentary since it's lighter and more fun. Someone said we're having our first transgender president. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Someone says, does your ideology lean more towards Elon Musk or Anthony Fauci? I mean, I think probably neither, but it's like when you have a presidential election and you have two options, if I were to have to choose between Elon Musk and Anthony Fauci, I'm absolutely choosing Elon, but that I can't say that we line up 100%. There's very few people that I trust less than Fauci. I actually have a video clip. Maybe we should play it real quick as people are coming in. God bless you guys. Appreciate you guys. It's going to be a video of Fauci on masks. He was talking about masks just a few months ago, and he's kind of mocking how much they don't really work. Here, we're going to play that clip while people are coming in. Then I'm going to enjoy my coffee. We'll do some shout-outs. Oh, my goodness. I have this lady. She's got blown-up lips or something. Never mind. Sorry. I'm just scrolling. I'm seeing, like, crazy stuff people are posting. All right, this is Fauci on masks just a few months ago. Ready? We'll listen to this as I'm drinking my coffee.
Right now, people should not be, right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often, there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask, and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people.
So that's Fauci just a few months ago. And this is like the changing of the guards, where I'm the crazy one. I haven't moved, and I'm the crazy one. He said a few months ago, masks are not important, they don't work, and there's actually science behind recycled air. What do you think happens when when you're breathing recycled air if you don't have one of the good masks for hours? It's not healthy. They knew that. Doctors know that. Nurses knew that. They told me, Anomaly, don't wear that. It's actually worse for you than you think. They said that 2 months ago. But now, 2 months later, everyone has to wear a mask. It's a government mask. This is not freedom. This is not Republican freedom. This is not Democrat freedom. This is not a republic, a democracy. This is wildly tyrannical. And no one questions it. You just put it on and say, just put it on. You can't not wear a mask. What are you not? That's how quick the goalposts change. And then I'm the crazy one for being like, I want to hear both sides of it. I don't Anyway, let's sip some coffee. Let's do some shout outs. And then I'm going to start on the MJ stuff. And yesterday I cursed. I feel bad. Someone said that they had a kid watching. And I was like, all right, I'll calm down today. I won't curse. We'll be in a good mood. I have my email list. If you'd like to sign up for my email list, it's stayintouchwithme.com. It's pinned to the top. I think it's a great name, stayintouchwithme.com. I'm pretty pumped about it. It's a small win in a bad couple months. A little win I had buying a domain. But who we got here? Someone said, saying you lean more towards one way or the other traps you into personal views. Well, here's the trap. Let's take a sip real quick. It's not only a trap that way, but it's a trap to think the whole world comes in two forms. Like if you're an intelligent person, like I think you probably are, Shane, and other people here, you shouldn't agree with me on everything. Like, I'm me. I like soccer. I like basketball. I like volleyball. I like cruises. I like sun. You might not like that stuff. Everybody's a unique individual. So this idea that here's your choice, here's your guy, and your anomaly, you can't question him. Even if you know for sure the guy you like is lying, it's obvious he's lying. He's spreading misinformation. He's deceiving millions of people. You can't possibly it's a total trap. Conservative, that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. Conservative and liberals, they move the goalposts, and then you're the crazy one for noticing. There's a Democrat in Georgia, African-American guy who's coming out. I think he was inspired by, conservatives and the black conservative movement. And he's like, you know what, I'm a Democrat, but I like Trump. I have been a Democrat for 15 years in Georgia. We've been fighting illegal immigration. We've been doing this. We've been doing that. And then you guys all just totally go off the deep end because I guess Don Lemon or MSNBC told you. And I stand here and say, hey, I'm the same Democrat I was 3 years ago. And they look at you like you're the crazy one. This guy's they'll start calling him racial slurs and stuff. And it's like, he hasn't changed. You guys changed. And it's the same with the Republican Party. 3 months ago, everybody's lined up saying socialism sucks. Now you're witnessing communism, and you have a dual-party system that's defending it and doling out trillions of socialist bucks. And I'm just standing here saying, listen, hey, I actually believe in freedom. I actually believe in the truth. I actually believe in not being a lemming. And then I get all this backlash, and people say, you're a liberal. Wait, I'm a liberal because I believe in what conservative... It's it's too easy, guys. It's laughably and frighteningly. It's a comedy and a tragedy. You either got to cry or laugh hysterically at it. How quickly and how easily you can move both parties. But that's what happens when you funnel using media, using thought leaders like myself, who are a lot less honest than I am, using them to, tell people what they believe, and then they shift, and everyone will just shift with them and not even question it. It's like if I told you, not to swim in the ocean, you're going to get eaten by 10 million sharks, and then the next day I said, go swim in the ocean, or else the sharks are on land now, and you don't question it, it's a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So it's, someone said he's not going to be perfect. We're not saying he's going to be perfect, but it's like unless you're his shoe shiner and unless you're his PR agent and you're getting paid 6-7 figures to make excuses for him, it's not your job to pretend like he's perfect. And that's all we're doing here. I've never said he was perfect, but in my perspective, and I think in people who haven't completely lost their mind yet's perspective, this isn't a small fry issue. This is probably the biggest crisis of our generation. This is the biggest loss of freedom that we've ever had, including with Obama, which is frightening. So this isn't a small issue, and the amount of people who think, it's their job to just be a PR. Well, he's not perfect. I know he's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one's saying we're perfect. I'm not digging up his history and his sex life like the media. I'm going off of what he said yesterday on Fox News on air, and it's not true. And no matter how much you say it's true or you say he's not perfect, it doesn't matter. It's not true. These type of dishonest framings are holding us back in a massive, massive way. So where's the holdup? I don't understand the disconnect here. You get what I'm saying? No one's saying he's perfect. It's bizarre. People are enslaved to one person or an ideology. It's bananas. But let's relax. Let's not get. I mean, I know probably half the people watching this are gonna bug out and be like, I need to listen to someone else. I can't hear this right now. I need someone to tell me what I want to hear. It's not gonna be your stream, I promise you. So if that's you, it's not for you. Someone said we need people who will call out the lies and stop pandering to government. Exactly. We'll start on a light note that everyone can understand, and then we'll move on to harder issues. First thing I want to talk about is the Michael Jordan documentary. I'm not a big TV watcher. However, when you're basically forced in the house by the federal government to not be able to play basketball or play tennis or go to the spa or go get a massage or go to the gym, you're pretty much faced with no other point than watching television and being on the phone more than you'd like to, I think by design. Anyway, I've been checking out the Jordan documentary, which is phenomenal. I'm a huge sports fan, and it's great to see somebody who I've heard a lot about, but I didn't get to follow his whole career. I was too young. On that note, in this episode, they brought out Obama, and they basically talked about Michael Jordan's most controversial moment of his career. Because for somebody as big as Michael Jordan was, he didn't have a lot of controversy because he wasn't very outspoken. He said, I'm a basketball player. I want to play basketball. I don't care about politics. I'm not a politician. I focus on my craft. That's why Michael Jordan was so good. He was a basketball player, and he did what he did great. If the if the blacksmith or the woodworker focuses on tennis too, that's not, that's fine. But it's like, you get what I'm saying. That's a stupid example. But the more you focus on your craft, the better you are at it. So in this documentary, they brought up a black senator, a Democrat, in the 90s. And they were saying, the first black senator. I don't know if they were talking about North Carolina or if they were saying the first black Democratic senator ever. It wasn't very clear to me at the time. I could rewatch it. But they have Obama and other black activists basically shaming Michael Jordan because he refuses to endorse and support the first, what they're calling the first black senator. Do they mean the first black Democratic senator? That would be true. The first black, wherever it was, North Carolina or whatever, senator, that could be true. But if you look at history, they left out a pretty big chunk of black political history. Obviously, by design, one of the biggest documentaries besides Tiger King to ever come out. And they just misled tens of millions of people. Because the first black senator in America was a Republican in 1870. 1800s, Republicans were basically voting for black Americans to lead them. The first black senator was not until 1993. So it took the Democrats over 123 years, 123 years to elect a black person into Senate. But this is the games that they play. So for Michael Jordan, they said, "You're bad. You won't vote for the Democrat. How dare you?" But these are they don't want you to get involved with politics. They want you to be a liberal. If you're Kanye West, Kanye got involved in politics. Are they happy he got involved? No, they hate Kanye West. Why? Because he didn't vote for a Democrat. So this idea that this documentary plays the game of, oh, we're just mad Michael Jordan doesn't stand up for anything. We want him to be like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali stood up for what he wanted to stand up for. I don't think he was forced. Quite the opposite. He stuck to his guns, and he believed what he believed in. And Muhammad Ali also had some very controversial race comments, saying bluebirds fly with bluebirds, blackbirds fly with blackbirds, something like that. He said, I stick to my own, and you should too. It's controversial. No one told him to do that. He didn't need to be shamed by the media. He just felt that way and just, quite frankly, didn't really care. And I have respect for people who do that, regardless of if I agree with them or not. I think there is something to be said, somebody who doesn't care about pressure and sticks to what they believe in. Now, when it comes to Michael Jordan, they didn't want Michael Jordan to speak up or speak out. They wanted him to say what they wanted him to say. And MJ said, Republicans buy sneakers too. And they thought that was a controversial statement, but from a business marketing standpoint, it's true. Democrats buy sneakers, Republicans buy sneakers. If I'm trying to be the best basketball player and the biggest thing on the planet, I'm not getting involved in politics. It's not my craft. So Michael Jordan was 1,000% right. And they didn't want him to speak. They said, we just wanted him to stand for something. What if he decided to stand for Republicans? What if he decided to stand for somebody that wasn't just blindly going with his race, saying, oh, I'm black, so I'm going to vote for the black guy? They would have hated him. He would have been in bigger trouble than he was for not doing anything at all. So it was a total disingenuous move, and the big thing that the documentary left out was as they were touting this as the first black senator, the first black senator, whether it was from that state or from the Democratic Party. What they're leaving out is it was not the first black senator in the country. That was 1870, Republican Party, and it took Democrats till 1993, 123 years of not supporting black people, to just pretend like they're the home of black America, even though you could look at the roots of the KKK, Abraham Lincoln, these things, and like you could see what party they were part of and who was working with black people and who was pressuring them. It was never really the Democrats that were on the side of that. But then all of a sudden, they can lie to America in a documentary and say, Michael Jordan is a racist because he didn't vote for the Democrat. And then you have Obama saying that. It's like, dude, so disgusting to see that. But congratulations, Michael Jordan. Congratulations, Dennis Rodman, just for being awesome. And that's really it. That's all I wanted to talk about for that. Yeah, he stood for independent thought. And honestly, not standing up for the black Democrat when the media pressured him is more activism than capitulating. It's like now, LeBron James can stand with communist China. LeBron James could stand with Bill Clinton. But what if LeBron James stood with President Trump? That's real activism. When the public disagrees with you, like they did with Muhammad Ali, that's real activism. Not standing up with the people who pay you and political parties that are socially acceptable. That's the opposite of social justice. So Michael, by not doing anything, once again proved he is a legend, better than LeBron James, and that's just how I feel. Someone said, I'm finding Haram Rhodes Revel as the first black senator who's a Republican. That's correct. That's his name, Haram. 1870, 123 years before the Democrats. But they'll never say that in the documentary because it would just destroy their whole... And then you have the... LeBron... It's like, all right, enough. Second thing I want to talk about today is... We'll just combine it. And I'm in a good mood, so I'm not going to get upset today. Why mass testing is not the answer. And my question really is, do conservative Trump supporters, not all of them, obviously you guys, most of them do believe in what they claim, but for some reason, a lot of people just don't seem to. If you listen to Trump over the last 3 days, there's two things. I mean, one, maybe you agree with him, maybe you disagree with him, maybe you love him, maybe you're starting to question him, maybe you'll give him the pass for anything, maybe you'll not like it. Do what you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. although it is a little annoying, I'm not going to lie. But if you listen to him over the last 3 days, he's talking about fast-tracking a vaccine, Operation Warp Speed. He's talking about mass testing. I'm the king of ventilators. I'm the king of testing. Nobody has more testing than me. Nobody has more ventilators than me. He's talking about 2 to 3 million people would have died. No evidence or science or any statistics to back that up. It's a pretty much lie or false claim. But he's saying all this stuff, and his angle that he's going with is like mass testing, tell everybody that everyone would have died if we would have had freedom, which is the complete opposite of what conservatives claim to believe and stand up for, but somehow I'm the bad guy for actually believing in freedom. I know, crazy how quickly they can move the goalposts on the masses. But regardless of that, mass testing is not the answer. And this, I've said it a bunch. I'm not going to harp on it too much, but the big story that either you get it and you implement it and you believe it, or you play this game for years. Mass testing is not the answer for multiple reasons. One, the more they test, the more people who are going to be positive. So this game of, well, there's more cases, there's more cases. They could literally do this for any disease on the planet. Any virus on the planet, any contagion on the planet. There's nothing they can't do this for. So, oh my God, there's no way to go backwards, okay? So this idea that that curve is going to flatten, it's never going to flatten. Whether it was vehicle crashes, alcohol deaths, flu, cold, there is no chart that goes backwards unless you could resurrect people. And, oh my goodness, 10,000 people raised from the dead and they didn't have it like we thought. That chart is going up, guys. So that's the game the media is playing, and both parties to some extent, is, when the cases stop, then we could think about going back to normal. It's never going to happen. Not for a year, not for 2 years. The best chance of that happening is what the HIV Nobel Prize discoverer said, which is he believes, and this is his theory, not mine, he believes it's a man-manipulated virus, and he thinks it's going to fall apart eventually because it's not natural. That's your best shot of this disappearing. Otherwise, it's never going to disappear. So whether it's Fox News, CNN, Trump, Hillary, anybody who's talking about that testing, the numbers don't matter. And most people are asymptomatic, so those numbers are even higher, and they're never going backwards. It's just impossible. Now on to the death rate, 70,000 people. It's never going backwards, but also the numbers are not being counted properly, so they don't even matter until Trump, Obama, Hillary, I don't care. Fauci, Sean Hannity, I don't know who's saying what, but I don't care. That number doesn't matter until they admit how they're counting. And Trump's certainly not doing it, and no one else is. They're saying anybody who dies with COVID-19 died from COVID-19. Knowing how many people are asymptomatic, I would say at this point, you could speculate 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, maybe 100 times more people are asymptomatic than aren't asymptomatic, which is a good thing. It means it's not that bad in most people. That's good. If they're going to count everybody who dies with it, died from it, those numbers are going to be inflated forever. There's a 0% chance, guys, 0% chance this is going to be under 100,000. And that's not a bad thing. If you figure out how contagious this virus is, and then you understand anybody who dies with it, they're counting as a died from it, count the amount of people who die every year, count the amount of people in America, count the amount of people who are going to have this, which is probably likely going to be 10, 20, maybe 30% at a certain point. There's no way this game is ever going to end, guys. It doesn't matter who says it. It doesn't matter what party's worse or who's not worse. It doesn't matter what you think Trump's doing to win the election. It doesn't matter what you think he's going to do in 4 months with the report that has nothing to do with this. It has to do with some other corruption. And there's enough corruption to go around. It's going to be tricky to get rid of all of it. But at a certain point, testing is not the answer. You can't mass testing. Mass testing is medical tyranny. You're going to test people here, test people there, test them every day. You got to test them 3 times a day or else it doesn't matter because they just interact with people. Guys, it's a slave order. You can't go anywhere unless you get tested. If you got tested here, you got to get tested there. You got tested at the sports game, make sure you get tested at work because you just interacted with people and that original test doesn't work anymore. Guys, this is slavery. This is medical tyranny. This is fascism. This is not good. This is not for your health. It's all bad. But it's okay. There's a silver lining. Just stop lying to yourself, and it all goes away. It's really simple. But I say this stuff, and people get mad at me, and they say, "Anomaly, I believe in Trump." What part of what I said otherwise? I just said what he said is provably, when it comes to how many people would have died, it's provably a lie. I mean, it's such an exaggeration. It's outlandish that he even said that, and it's outlandish that people who like him even believe it. Because that lie isn't to make you look good. That lie doesn't help anybody. That lie keeps you enslaved. That lie takes away your freedom. That lie is bankrupting millions of businesses. That lie is destroying millions of small businesses. That lie is keeping you on a communist paycheck instead of being able to work. That lie is stopping you from playing basketball and tennis. That lie is locking and imprisoning people basically in their houses on a tyrannical fascist order where you're not allowed to you're not allowed to go to the gym, but you can go sit in Costco with 200 people. You can't get your hair cut with 2 people, but you can go walk around one direction in a food town, or a Kroger with 100 people. There's no science there. It's all lies, guys. So it doesn't matter who says it. And I say this stuff, and conservatives are, there's a certain sect of conservatives. It's all fine. I would say it's like the Trump fanatics, the people who care about fame, attention, maybe money. I won't even say that. Probably fame, attention, and party loyalty and being the cool kid in town more than they care about freedom, liberty, and prosperity. And when your whole ideology, the whole Trump ideology, the whole conservative ideology, the whole Republican ideology, the whole right-wing ideology, the thing that makes it better than the left wing, besides, in my personal perspective, almost everything, is freedom, liberty, lower taxes, less communism, freedom. That's really the big one for me. It's the freedom. They don't even believe in that anymore. It's like I'm trying to stand up for what they claim, and they're like making excuses for not being free and for statistics and lies and exaggerations and misinformation from the president himself. That's going to keep you in this position for days, weeks, months, years, maybe forever. And I'm somehow the weird one. They say, "Oh, I knew you were a Democrat." I'm a Democrat for wanting freedom. I'm a Democrat for wanting what you claim to want all year. But as soon as like 3 people tell you that they don't want it or they lie to you, you're willing to make excuses for that. Makes no sense. Same with the amount of people who just go along with the mask order. I mean, I don't want to wear a mask personally. I look at the science of recycled air, and I'm not convinced that it's really necessary. And that's what Fauci said. That's what the Surgeon General said 2 months ago. And now, even though the goalpost moved on how spread it is, the goalpost moved on the mortality rate, the flu is bad news, guys. It kills 80,000 people. COVID-19 is bad news. But at what are you willing to give up? Your gym, your job, your life, your exercise, everything to do what they don't even know? They can't even prove that they're not killing more people, guys. It's a scientifically proven fact. Exercise, community, social gatherings, and having a schedule is what keeps people alive. It's easily scientifically proven. It's like a car. What type of car works better? One that you drive every day or one that you leave in the cold for 3 months? It's not going to start, because that's how human bodies work too. You can't just lay there all day. You have to move, or else you're going to get hurt. I learned that the hard way when I was young. Just laying around all the time, I would get sick all the time. Once I started moving around, I haven't been sick in 4 years. I used to be a lazy piece of lard. Now I'm not. They're forcing me to not be able to do anything. That has a health effect. So even if the death rate goes up, they can't prove it's not from their orders. You look at Sweden, compare it to the UK. Sweden's doing virtually the same. UK is extending. Sweden let kids go to school. In Italy, they're going to say they saved millions of lives. Trump's going to lie, and people are going to eat it up because they like Trump. He's going to say, millions of people would have died in America. Italy. They can't even prove that locking people in the houses isn't what's killing them. You're locking multi-generational families inside together and letting them go on the balcony like Julian Assange. They're enslaving them. Like, that's why I said in my song, I said, We let the enemy get too friendly. Now we quarantine like Julian inside the embassy. It's a great line because it's true. That's why did Julian Assange only get allowed to go on the balcony? Because they were enslaving him. So they said, here, you can go on the balcony until we arrest you. Now, what do they say to people in Italy? Yeah, you can go on the balcony. It's scientifically proven in that community in Italy that what keeps them alive is sunlight, exercise, and social gatherings. If they didn't have social gatherings and sunlight, they would die quicker like the rest of the world. That's why they live the most in that area of Italy. It's all proven. There's a whole documentary called Happy on Netflix. It used to be, at least. I watched it 5 years ago, and they talked about that. So they can't even prove to you that they're not killing more people. But the plebs on both sides will be like, well, Trump saved millions of lives, and with the ventilators. It's like, no, he's the king of ventilators and the king of testing. But the king of ventilators and the king of testing and the king of fast vaccines is not going to free you until you realize that that's not the answer. And you could say why he's doing it. He has raped people. Like, it's probably so he can win the election. Probably, but I'm not Trump's shoe shiner, okay? I'm not like, okay, here, Trump, you need to win the election, so just enslave me for 8 months, please. It's like, no, that's not how we the people works. They have no proof. They're just going to take credit for locking people in their houses and saying less people died. They could be killing more people, and it's not hard. People, anomaly, that's crazy that you say that the masks and the indoors are saving people. Guys, I had a debate with somebody the other day who was like, it's crazy that you could expect. What do you think happens if I sit inside for a year or I go travel and exercise for a year? Which version of me do you think's healthier? The one who moves, the one who goes to the gym, the one who plays basketball, the one who plays soccer, the one who goes in the ocean. It's not the one who's locked indoors. It's so obvious. But it's like because Fauci changed the script 2 months ago, now even conservatives and right-wing libertarians are like, anomaly, that's crazy to suggest that possibly more people could have died. What? It's crazy to not even consider that. I'm not saying that this virus couldn't be killing more people and indoors is better. I acknowledge that theory, the theory of social distancing. I get it. But here's the point that nobody's talking about either. The theory of social distancing and slowing the spread all relies on when the virus got here. If the virus got here in January and we did it in March, what are they saying to you? You can't open, Georgia. You can't open in May. It's too early. They're basing it off of when they think the virus got here. If the virus got here in November, guys, it's too late. You already let it spread, and now you're locking people in multi-generational homes with the virus. That's what happened. That doesn't work. Their whole theory failed, guys. So if timing didn't matter, May to March wouldn't matter. But May to March does matter. They're telling you how much it matters. You don't dare do what they say you don't do, because every day matters. Every second matters. But somehow it magically doesn't matter if they were 4 months wrong about when the virus got here. Guys, it's all a lie. And it doesn't matter if Trump says it, Fauci says it, Burke says it, Ted Cruz says it, or freaking Hillary Clinton and her gang of Clintonites say it. It doesn't matter. And someone said conservatives aren't saying that, you loon. Jack, maybe you're not saying it, brother, and you're a smart guy. You would be shockingly surprised at how many people are saying it. So if you're not saying it, you should be warmed and welcomed by this little dose of reality. And if you are saying it, most of the times the people who are saying it are upset because they don't want to talk about this stuff. And also, with the slow of the spread, guys, the whole theory, Trump's theory, Fauci's theory, the whole theory was to stop the spread or to stop the over-hospitalizations. It didn't happen. They bankrupted the hospital, and then they just moved on and said 4 million people would have died if we didn't do this. They keep moving the goalposts, and the people that get the most upset are the people who want to make excuses for the president or make excuses for Republicans instead of just facing reality. I'm not going to vote for Democrats. I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I still think Republicans are better, but the goalpost just moved from protecting freedom to not protecting freedom. And that's a massive, massive deal. It's an unfathomably huge deal. And I just don't understand why people think it's their job to make excuses for lies. It's only going to keep you imprisoned for longer, because it's not my job or your job to try to figure out who's trying to win an election or who's playing a political game. That's all they do is play political games, guys. When they passed the $1 trillion spending bill in December, who told you about it? Me, Tucker Carlson, and Ted Cruz. What was in that spending bill? Planned Parenthood. They're not funding the wall. They're funding gun control. Bipartisan. Nobody's not doing it. They're all in on it. I told you, because I actually believe in what conservatives pretend to believe in. I don't believe in gun control, so I don't want a Republican-signed bill to fund it. But that's what they did. And you know who was funding it? The Center for Disease Control, the CDC. So why do you think they might not have been prepared for this pandemic? I don't know. They're studying racism and black fatherhood and, in schools. And no offense, that's fine to study that stuff. God bless black fathers and all fathers. But the Center for Disease Control is studying that, and then they're not ready for this pandemic because they're signing off, both parties, for them to study gun control. So your job, if you really believe in what conservatives pretend to believe in, you should be concerned in December that you have Republicans selling out free speech, funding Planned Parenthood, and funding gun control. But no one cares. Why does no one care? Because they choose party and like a PR team over reality. I like Trump, but that was not right, and no one cared. And come April, May, here we are. It's not even a minor disagreement. It's like the biggest crisis in modern history that has bankrupted and put more people out of work than any crisis since the Great Depression. And this might be worse when it's all said and done. And you have a president who's just straight up not telling the truth right now, guys. He's saying herd immunity would have been bad. People say, is he trying to win an election? Of course. That's exactly what he's trying to do. But your job is not to make excuses for tyranny and lack of freedom and lack of liberty and lack of reality just to make someone you like look good. I mean, it's bizarre. So that's the question I'm really asking. I think someone said, what's my view on globalism, the New World Order? Call it what you want, but there's people who care about the world more than they care about America. And Trump said he was into nationalism, over America. But, I don't agree with people who don't look at their own country. And there's many people who do that. But here's another little thing I'll tell you. People will ignore any globalism or any mass selling out of the country if Trump does it because he told them that he likes nationalism. So are Democrats and the Bill Gates and those type of people, are they for the world over America? For sure. They don't hide it. I don't trust them. I would never vote for them. I would never support them. But Trump is not really as big of a nationalist as he tells you he is. He supported H-1B visas, guys, and I've talked about this 50 million times. H-1B visas green lights cheaper labor from other countries, gives them a visa, replaces American workers, lowers your wages. Him and Kushner promote the hell out of it. And no one cares because Trump says he stands up for nationalism. But that's the question I have to ask. The Republican Party's weak. They're so easily deceived that they don't believe in anything they claim to. And it makes me the outlier. Someone said Trump is not for one new world order. You would hope so, You would hope that that's true. But it's like, at what point do you look around? If this was March and or April or May, are you a little? I'm just curious. I'm gonna be calm today. Are you a little bit skeptical seeing the fact that there's a manufactured Great Depression? He let Dr. Fauci run the show for a month. Trump extended the lockdown and said, we need 30 more days of this. He said hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people would have died. He's still saying that. He's pushing, fast-tracking vaccines. He's the king of ventilators, the king of testing. He won't tell you that anybody who dies with COVID died from COVID. So this game's literally never going to end. Is there even like 1/10 of you that says, maybe this isn't so good? Maybe I like the guy, but like maybe I should not just like agree with all this. Like, does there ever come a point, or does it have to get worse? I'm just curious. David, I hear you. I mean, I like people, but to me as well, I think if somebody lies about something small, and unfortunately there's a lot of people that I like who I've seen do this. They lie about something. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. but someone attached to a lie and they just won't tell the truth about it. To me, that's a red flag, even if it's not the biggest thing. We're talking about the President of the United States, who I've supported, who you support, who millions of people love. He's lying about the biggest crisis in modern history. This is not even a small red flag. It's a massive red flag. And everybody should be slightly, at bare minimum, slightly concerned about it. But the amount of people who don't even want to acknowledge, this is not even a small lie, guys. Saying 2.5 million people would have died if he didn't lock down, it's making an excuse not to win an election, not against Ilhan Omar, not a little free speech executive order on college campus. Guys, you're talking crisis since the Great Depression, and he's lying about it. And I'm not allowed to say that because you think he's fighting the New World Order by enslaving the country? I mean, the cognitive dissonance is just getting stunning. I'm going to read this comment, Lynette, because this is a good comment. Linnell, excuse me. Thank you, Linnell. She said, I like Trump, but I don't agree with how he's handling the pandemic. Phenomenal. That's all I ask. I still like him as well, although I will say his recent press conferences are not really impressive. But liking him is awesome. Understanding that how he's handling this is not awesome is a good thing. It's okay. Let me see. Wes said, you knew I was a snake before you let me in. I know, you're talking about the snake poem that he always said. It's a good poem, or it's a good passage, you know? And it applies to a lot. Someone said, this is a good comment too, Jonathan, because, listen, Jonathan said, the choices are slim pickings on who could run the country better. Exactly, Jonathan, and that's totally okay. I agree with you 1,000%. I'm not here to ruin Trump's parade. I don't see anybody who could run the country better. They just don't exist, okay? So I still think he's the best guy for the job by default because there's nobody else even close, unfortunately. No one's even near him. So I agree. That's a total comment. Say, I like him. I'll vote for him. I think he's the best guy for the job. I have no problem with that. I think it's true, personally. But the people who make excuses for the lack of freedom and the tyranny, to me, that's just unacceptable. Someone said, I thought Trump only closed the borders, but the lockdowns came from the governors. I mean, you could look at, I think, to compliment him, I think he did a good job of, I think even in this pandemic, a Democrat would have absolutely centralized power more. Trump did a pretty good job of not centralizing power, which is impressive. But as far as the emergency order, as far as the lockdowns, the guidelines, if you think Trump didn't want this, that to me, that's a lie. So is he 100% responsible for this? No. Did he leave it up to the governors in a lot of cases? Absolutely. But was he behind this? 1,000%, guys. He laid down the guidelines. He laid down the phase plan. He told you how he feels. He wanted this to happen. So in no way, shape, or form did he fight this. He orchestrated it with Fauci, with Birx, with his guidelines. He's behind this. Did he do it in a way that he doesn't have the power? Absolutely, which is good. I wouldn't want there to be centralized power, but two things can be true. He did give governors the power to do it themselves, but he also wanted it to happen and pretty much pushed for it to happen. So if you can acknowledge both of those, I think it makes sense. If you completely try to exonerate Trump of any wrongdoing in this, it's a little disingenuous in my opinion. Someone said, well, we're in a good mood today, so what's up, Pam? Pam said a president can't reveal his hand while dealing with so much and not panic people. Also true. Very true, Pam. Great comment. He absolutely can't reveal his hand. But I think the people can reveal their hand. You know, I think it's okay for us to say, I don't know what you're doing or who's doing what to you, but this is not okay. You know, I think, and it'll get there. I was just hoping that this wouldn't have to happen for it to get here, but, you know, we'll see. Someone said, comment on the new deadlier strain that was just announced. Yeah, I didn't hear about that, but on that note, the whole point of this thing is, guys, whether you love Trump, 20 times more than me, and you hate me now because I'm saying this, or you don't like Trump anymore, or you never liked Trump. I don't know how you feel. Even if you love Trump and don't like me, if you don't understand what's going on, this is never going to end. They're never going to stop. And it's not up to us to make excuses for it. There's a deadlier strain. There's going to be a deadlier strain. This is going to happen. The way they're counting, the way Trump is doing it, it's all wrong, guys. He thinks, I don't know what his hand is, but I don't care. I'm not doing this for another month. It's not happening. I will resist. So, someone said he did speak out against the tyrant in Michigan. Yeah, he spoke out against the tyrant in Michigan. He spoke out against Sweden for having too much freedom. He spoke out against Georgia for having too much freedom. So he's hedging his bets and being a politician. He spoke out against the tyranny in Michigan. That's awesome. But he also spoke out against Georgia for opening up, and he spoke out against Sweden for going for herd immunity. So what's the point of speaking out against tyranny, but then also speaking out against freedom? He's doing what billionaires and businessmen and politicians too, which is they hedge their bets and they just say what, looks good. But talk is cheap, so it is what it is. Someone said, yeah, he did. All right, let's see. Melissa said, he did want this to happen. Okay, so you gotta love this theory. Trump purposely did this, guys. He wanted to destroy tens of millions of businesses. He wanted to enslave you for 3 months so you could see how bad the corruption is. This is the best theory. You gotta just laugh. He wanted this to happen, said Melissa. You can't just tell people. Sometimes you have to show them. Now Americans are seeing the result of voting, and these politicians are finally waking up. You better hope so. I don't know that I agree with you, but to each their own. I think people knew exactly how corrupt politicians were. Now they know more so, but the reason they know is because it's happening. It's like, is Trump going to show us the new world order by enslaving us to them? Does that make sense to you? To me, it doesn't. It's like, we all already knew. Some people did, some people didn't, but it's like, I'm going to show you how bad the medical tyrants are by letting them run our country into the ground. And only until they take your freedom, take your money, take your job, take your basketball hoops, and enslave you in communist fascist, then you'll understand. No, guys, that's called implementing. He's not showing, he's implementing. This is implementing the agenda. This is implementing medical tyranny. This is deleting freedom. So I could show you how to light you on fire by lighting you on fire, but I don't think that stops you from getting lit on fire. Do you get what I'm saying? Well, Trump doesn't want us to get lit on fire, so he has to light us on fire to show us that we'll not get lit on fire. The more you lie to yourself and the more you do jumping jacks in order to protect his legacy, the longer you're going to be imprisoned. So it's up to you. Me, I already have a game plan. Someone said, I think he's learning how to be a politician. You can't not light someone on fire by lighting them on fire. He's protecting us from the corruption by showing us the corruption by being corrupt, by lying and putting liars in charge, so he can show us what it's like to be enslaved, so now we know. So now when we go to the voting booth, no matter which way you vote, you know that you could get enslaved anyway. It's like the distance. I actually have more incentive to lie for Trump. I have a massive Trump audience. I get invited to events, including White House events. I have every reason to lie to protect Trump. Financially, connections-wise, event-wise, career-wise, if I wanted to go that path, I didn't. I have all the reasons in the world to lie to protect Trump, and I won't even do it. Why would you lie for Trump? I don't understand. If I was his shoe shiner or then I'd maybe be like, it's good. That's not my job. That's not your job. And if it's not my job, it's certainly not your job. Someone said, how are you supposed to know what to do then? What's up, Linda? I'm in a good mood today, so I'm not getting upset. This is a pretty new thing with a pandemic, all our social media. I want to go back to work. It needs to be doing. It's going to take enough people standing up against it. If the freedom-loving people in this country want to make excuses for tyranny because somebody told them 3 years ago that something good's going to happen soon, you're going to be imprisoned forever. So That's my challenge. That's why I keep pushing. It's not to be edgy. I don't do that just to get attention. I don't need to. I literally mean it. So what can you do? What can I do? Trump supporters need to stop making excuses for what's happening and start telling him it's not okay. And then it's all going to go away. And I said this the other day, and I really think it's funny and sad at the same time. It's a comedy and a tragedy. If every conservative in America actually believed in what they tell you they believe in, this would be done today. It would have been done yesterday. It would have been done a week ago. It would have been done a month ago. It would have been done 2 months ago before Trump extended for 30 more days after the 14 days. If every conservative believed in what they tell you that they believe in, this wouldn't be happening. But unfortunately, I'm now in the minority of people who believe in what I talk about. And everybody else, they don't. That's why I tell you earlier in the year, I want you to listen to everybody. I want you to get multiple sources. I do. I appreciate people. You know, everyone can't be everything, but it's like, I like him. I disagree with him, but he's funny. He's cool. He's educational. He's a little dumb there, but I love everybody. But I tell you this stuff because if you follow leaders who don't believe in what they claim to believe in, you're eventually going to be what we are now, which is sheep getting led to the slaughter or to the prison factory. And that's what happens when 80% of conservative leaders literally don't believe in what they claim to believe. If they did, and everybody did, this wouldn't be happening. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. So someone said it's not Trump, it's absolutely the governor of each state. Guys, once again, I'm going to say this one more time. Does anybody pay you to be a PR team for Trump? I'm just curious. Like I said, I have more reason than you do to make excuses for Trump. I'll get invited places. I'll get more money probably. I'll probably be able to take money from people to lie. I just don't want to do that. Why do you feel the need to make excuses for him? Is it up to the governors right now? Absolutely. Did Trump do a good job of not centralizing power? Absolutely. Is he better than Joe Biden? I think so. Absolutely. But is Trump completely innocent in the situation? Not even remotely close. He put Birx and Fauci there. He pushed them on television for 2 weeks. He believed them. He pushed the Bill Gates models. He extended the shutdown for 30 days. Him and Pence came up with the phased plan and the extended shutdown off of a fake conclusion that never happened, and he's still lying to this day. So are the governors largely responsible? Absolutely. But why do you feel like it's your need as a citizen who's being treated like a prisoner to make excuses for the guy who still lies about it today and who not only wanted it to happen, he wasn't fighting them, he implemented it. He didn't fight Birx and Fauci. He put them on television and put them in his task force. He didn't fight the models. He believed them. He didn't fight the shutdown. He extended it. He's only railing against, Michigan sometimes. Other times he's railing against Sweden and Georgia for having too much freedom. So why do you feel the need to make excuses for him? Is it up to the governors? Absolutely. But is Trump fighting them? No, he's complimenting them. Guys, it's so obvious. I mean, I have 20 times more reason to make excuses for him than you. Do you realize how many people hate me now because of what I'm saying? Realize all the events that I'm not going to get invited to because of what I'm saying? I have every reason. It's probably more profitable. I know it's more profitable. Guys, the only reason I don't get booked for college speeches and all this stuff, it's because I'm not a lemming. There's a script you have to stick to. If you don't, they don't like you, which is fine with me. I'm doing just fine. You see what? All right, I'm going to read Paul's comment because Paul said, what's up, Paul? Paul said, what's wrong with you? Lie, for he's doing the best he can under the circumstances. Do you not remember how long this has been going on now? You're a hater. You lost one. Paul, I'm going to lose a lot more than one. What part? I don't understand what part of what don't you get? If the best he can do is taking away your freedom, making the Great Depression happen, then clearly the people need to stand up to this government. If this is the best he can do, guys, if this is okay for you, you're a slave, my brother. You're a prisoner. You're a prisoner saying this is the best we can do. This is the best he can do. Then people need to stand up for themselves. If this is the best he can do, It's not good enough, okay? Giving up every value that I've talked about for the last 3 years is not good enough, okay? Whether he's doing it, Fauci's doing it, Obama, this is not acceptable. If you're accepting this, we're not on the same page, my man. So I understand that he makes mistakes, just like you. I understand that maybe this is the best he can do, but if this is good enough for you, we don't live in the same country. I'm not going to become a prisoner and a slave for the rest of my life because this is the best Trump can do. Well, then this is a piss poor job from citizens. The citizens, if this is the best the citizens can do, I'm not impressed. So it's not even blaming Trump. I'm more blaming people who support him. If it's not even his fault, it's our fault. If every conservative believed in what they claim to believe in, this wouldn't be happening. Not with Trump, not with Fauci, not with Newsom, not with anybody. But no one believes in what they claim to believe in. They believe in personality and people and icons more than they believe in values. And to be quite frank, God. It's like, don't believe in false idols. Don't believe in politicians. Like, why? Who told you had to make an excuse for this? Aaron said, I'm not giving up any rights for any president for any reason. Nobody in their right mind should. I'm a hater because I believe in what conservatives believe in. Guys, if you don't have freedom, you're not a conservative. You're just a slave. If you don't have any of the values, they just manufactured a Great Depression, stole your freedom, and to this day are trying to extend it for weeks and for months, if not your entire life. And people are, I'm a hater because I don't think this is great, because this is the best. If this is the best he can do, I'm sorry, it's not good enough. Ridiculous. It's shocking, but I'm not going to get mad today. Let's have fun. Cece said, truth is what you're saying is not going to change your stance. That's integrity. I mean, what part of being a conservative means you have to lie about this? I don't get it. Someone said Trump is letting everyone hang themselves. He's letting you hang yourself. He's letting his own supporters lose everything. So it's the dumb. I mean, just tell yourself that and go like. You know, Trump's exposing them by implementing them, giving them power, so that, yeah, we could expose Hillary Clinton if we elect her for 4 years too, but I'd rather not do that. I'd rather, let her go off into the woods, or, let someone else expose her in a different way than elect her. You don't expose things. He's letting you hang yourself. He's letting millions of his own supporters literally, domestic abuse, suicides, loss of job, loss of freedom, bankruptcies. That's what he's allowing. He's not letting them hang him. He's letting them hang. No, he's giving them power. I'm not going to get mad today. This is why it happens, though. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm blaming his supporters. This is why things happen. You could spend 5 years standing up against socialism, but the second communism comes, you think it came to expose them. He's exposing the communists by giving us communism. Guys, you voted for Trump to not get communism. You voted for Trump, got communism, and now you got communism because he's exposing the communists. Guys, at a certain point, you're going to have to stop lying to yourself. You can unfollow me today. You'll know what I'm saying in 2 weeks. It's true. Jill said, I live in a county that has 12 cases and that we're still on lockdown, because it's not about health, Jill. It's not about freedom. It doesn't matter if it's Trump, Fauci, Obama. This is a lie, and the more people make excuses for it, the more it's going to happen. There's no science to back it. There's no evidence to back it. The Governor Whitmer's lying. Governor Newsom's actually opening up faster, which is shocking, shockingly weird. And Trump to this day is on television lying about it. And they're never going to stop extending it because his supporters are like, he's exposing the communists by giving us communism. The only way to expose communism is to give people communism. Guys, you might as well just chain yourself to your fence then, because you're going nowhere with that attitude. It's ridiculous. Someone said, stop generalizing Trump supporters. I'm not, but the interesting is, I've noticed a phenomenon. When I talk about conservatives and when I talk about Trump supporters, like when I talk about liberals, the liberals who know it's true appreciate that I'm saying it. The Trump supporters who know that it's true appreciate that I'm saying it. The conservatives that know I'm true appreciate that I'm saying it. The people who get the most upset are almost always the people who I'm talking about. So The Trump supporters who know that this is a massive problem in the Trump movement are like, oh my God, thank you. Finally, somebody's talking about what we're all seeing. And then the people who don't want to accept what I'm saying say, don't group us all in. I'm not grouping everyone in. I'm just saying the amount of people who support the president, it's not everybody, but if everybody who supported the president believed in freedom as much as they believe in making excuses for the president, we wouldn't be facing a prison sentence right now. It's that simple. So, it's very easy. I'm not grouping. It's like when I say liberals, is every liberal like that? No, but at a certain point, any liberal that isn't like that is annoyed at that. You know what I'm saying? It's always the... Someone said, did you talk about how Sweden's death total in the new model went down? Guys, Sweden is doing just fine. They're not doing astronomically worse. Trump's lying about it. And if you have a problem, hit the unfollow button. I could care less. I'll make, 50% as much money this month. Don't care. Do not care. Someone said to me today, they're like, are you sure you want to say that? Trump, you got a lot of Trump support. That's fine. The real ones know it's true, that believe in what they claim to believe in. If not, I don't care. I've never cared. I still don't care. Let's look at Sweden. I don't know that the death models went down, but let's look. Oh, now they have a little chart. Herd immunity is very well for them. They're already on the decline. They're doing just as good as UK. They're doing slightly worse than America. And when it's all said and done, they're going to do better, save more lives, save more businesses, save more freedom. There's no evidence, no data, no logic, no science to back up what Trump's saying. And the more he says it, the more you're going to be locked in your house. So you can make up every excuse in the world for why he's lying to you. But I think it would be wise to just if you like me, I hope you do. If you like me and I say, guys, don't drink water, I would hope you be like, Anomaly, I like you, but I don't understand why you tell people not to drink water. The truth is the truth, a lie is a lie. If you like someone, the nicest thing you could do is call them out because their lie is keeping you imprisoned. Someone said they use this and other stuff to keep people calm. Oh, for sure. That's obvious. How to keep people complacent, it's all obvious, but it's okay. All right, I'm going to vote. I'm going to read what Christy said. Sorry. Christy said, vote for Trump and agree with you. I don't follow anyone blindly. Trump is 100% wrong on this one. He'd do better just to admit it. Thank you, Christy. God bless you. You're a legendary Trump supporter. See, it's not everybody. It's like the Trump supporters who feel this are like, thank God somebody that likes Trump. People consider me a Trump supporter. I just don't take titles because I know they try. Are you a Trump supporter, Anomaly? Now we have to write a smear article. Are you a conservative? Are you alt-right? It's like, just leave me alone. But Lynn said, I'm going to read that. Lynn said if he opens up the country and the death rate spikes, they will try to impeach him. They already tried to impeach him multiple times. They'll definitely try again. And the death rates are never going to go down because the numbers are wrong. So the death rates are going to continue to climb. They're going to continue to rise. And it's not for any other reason, but it's a simple equation. The more you test, the more you're going to find death from it. The more you say died from it, it's impossible for the number to go down anytime soon. And it doesn't necessarily mean more people are dropping dead from it. They're testing more. The more they test, the more cases. The more they test, the more deaths. If someone died from COVID-19 in November, they don't even know it because they had no tests. If you don't have a test for something, you don't die from it. It's that simple in their eyes and statistical eyes. And when you test for something, then you find it. And if everybody who has it died from it, even though they know they didn't die from it, the numbers are never going down. And I'm telling you right now, it's bipartisan. They both won't say this. Okay. I'm going to read this. Chrissy said, do you think he's being advised incorrectly, which turn he lies because he doesn't have the real factual info? That's a good comment, Chrissy. I think so. I think either two options. He's being advised improperly or he's just wrong. I don't know. He doesn't... I think so. I think he's absolutely being advised improperly. And when Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx are your two advisors, it's not hard to figure out how that happened. And he's got advisors like Jared Kushner around him, These are people that I don't necessarily politically agree with, so I think that's very probable that he's been duped. But at this point, it's hard to not... He's doing what he has to do. I think it's time for the citizens to do what they have to do. Very simple, He's playing political games. People who say He's doing what he has to do to win the election. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want to get blamed. You're right. He's playing political games. I agree with you. But at what point am I going to give up my freedom and my access to a gym and to not wear a mask for 7 months because Trump wants to win an election? Hell no. Never. I'm sorry if that's a curse word. No, you should not. You get what I'm saying? They're going to play games. Why do you think Trump and the Republicans, why did the Republicans take $100 million from Sheldon Adelson and then give his wife a Medal of Presidential Freedom? And, I'm sure he has a huge leverage on Republicans, and that's probably could be a reason that they passed anti-First Amendment speech laws. They're going to play political games because money, power, control, it all plays a factor from left to right. There's certain people that both parties bow down to. They're absolutely doing what they can, but as a citizen, you shouldn't just make excuses for them. It's like, unless you think you're a slave, then be a slave. I'm not a slave, so I don't say, well, it's the two-party system. It's really corrupt, so I'm just going to chain myself to a fence for a year and not be able to go anywhere. I'm not a slave, so I don't care really what their political games are. I'm sure he is playing political games. There are powerful people involved, but I'm not a slave. I'm not his shoe shiner. I'm not his PR team. So I'm an American citizen that actually believes in what conservatives pretend to believe in. So I'm going to, fight for it. Someone said, I have a bit of a silly question. Why are people calling state lines the border now? I don't know. Someone said, Trump wants to open up the country. It's hurting him. If you say so, I don't think you realize what's going on, but that's okay. It's a good comment. We'll read that. Gemma said, people are obsessed with labels and categorizations. It's a barrier to logic and critical thinking. They do tests too. Like, I don't know if you know with Pavlov, it's an old test where they have food and then they ring a bell. And then they have food and then they ring a bell. They give a dog food and then they ring a bell. Eventually they condition the dog to say, when we ring the bell, the food's coming. So I believe in the Pavlov experiment, eventually they took the food away. And after a certain amount of time, ringing the bell, the dog still drools. That's called programming. That's how you condition somebody to know bell means food. Bell means food. Take away the food, they don't even notice. They still think it's there. It's the same with humans. They program humans the same way. When you go to elementary school, everybody listens. You have to listen. Wake up, do what they say. It's all obedience until you learn how to obey until you're in college, and then you obey more. Your whole life is obedience. Your whole life is training you for this moment. So then you go to politics. It's the same exact thing, guys. They're doing the Pavlov dog experiment to both parties. Ring the bell, give them something, ring the bell, give them something, ring the bell. 2016 Democratic Party, they completely changed the food element. Everything's different. Their stance on illegal immigration, their stance on taxes, almost nothing that Democrats used to believe in, they completely shifted. But they rang the bell so many times, you got the liberals drooling. They hate Trump so much, they'll do anything. Nothing matters to them anymore. That's called being brainwashed. Go to the right wing. Ring the bell, socialism sucks. Ring the bell, socialism sucks. Ring the bell, Trump. Ring the bell, Charlie Kirk. Ring the bell, Dan Crenshaw. All your idols. And then they shift out capitalism and a free market with communism, essentially house arrest, tyranny, fascism, medical tyranny, complete loss of freedom, complete loss of the First Amendment, complete shutdown of businesses, completely unconstitutional, manufactured Great Depression. And a lot of conservatives and Trump supporters, not all of them, but a lot of them, are just drooling like the Pavlov dog. They completely changed the scope. They completely moved the goalposts. Everything is different. Nothing's the same about what they told you 3 months ago, but 50% of the people don't even care. It's called programming, guys. It happens to both sides. They do it with dogs, they test it on animals, and then they do it with humans. From MK Ultra to Project Mockingbird to, 2016 internet posters. It's like, if people are that easy to deceive, they're never going to stop doing it. So, someone said, Chris said, I bet 90% of people wearing masks have college degrees. Crazy, huh? It's wild because you hear about Harvard and you think, man, Harvard, such smart people go to Ivy League schools like Harvard. Look at Harvard's connections to Jeffrey Epstein and Hillary Clinton and blocking the sun with Bill Gates. These are the most tyrannical, out of control lunatics in college. So, same with a lot of people who have PhDs and stuff. It's more indoctrination. It's a lot of liberal ideology. There's a lot of great things. You learn a lot, but same with the medical industry. They don't teach critical thinking all the time. You learn what the Western medicine wants you to learn. And if you think outside that box, they call you crazy. But a lot of doctors and nurses, they know that. They're just not allowed to do it. I had a doctor in California tell me, he went on a rant and said, I can't even tell you what you should do right now because I'm basically just an employee to the state. The state of California directs what I can and can't do, and that's what I can do. He had like a meltdown because he knew I was a real one. And he was like, this whole industry's corrupt, but I have to do it or else I lose my job. So you get what I'm saying? Someone said conservatives these days are fake patriots and fake Christians. Like Jesse Lee Peterson says, just so people don't get mad, not all, but some. I agree. And I'm going to tell you another paradox that's hilarious. Somebody commented on my Twitter the other day and said, anomaly. I said something about, I forget what, but they were like, anomaly, the Muslims are invading Europe and, they're doing all this stuff in Europe. And I said, the paradox of that is there's two things. I completely see the refugee crisis, the liberals, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Europe. However, the two things that the Muslim refugees do better than the Christian conservatives, ironically, one, they fight the pedophile agenda in the schools. Christian conservatives are like pushovers, I'm sorry, especially in Europe. So it's like, I'm not agreeing with what they're doing as far as how they're bringing in people, but the Muslims in the UK shut down the pedophile agenda in liberal schools quicker than Christians do. So what does that say? That the people you hate actually stop like child abuse quicker than you do. Same with this shutdown. It's like there are Christian conservatives that are going hard, but in Europe, it's a lot of the refugees who are, and to be honest, in America, it's the Hasidic Jewish people that don't care. They're like, I'm not doing this. So in a weird way, what's going on? Like you said, there's fake conservatives and fake Christians. I'm not saying all of them, but in America, I think even conservative Christians, look at the top 5 conservative Christian thought leaders. They're totally deceiving people on every level. They're telling, I don't even want to get into it, but it's like it's making people very complacent and thinking like going further liberal, and then you do what most Christians believe in, and they call you names. They're like, you're homophobic, racist, xenophobic, anti-Semitic, and you're like, what? It's like Christian conservatives yelling at you. It gets really weird. Someone said, up until this moment, do you believe Trump has been acting in the best interest of Americans? I always give Trump a pass because the world is complex. Power is complex. You give a little to get a little. So overall, I think his grade was a very high one until this moment. But unlike other people, this is the difference between me and a lot of, you have movements like the QAnon movement. You have patriots like the Charlie Kirks and others. And, even Shapiro will question Trump a lot. But there's people who almost never question the president, and it's not even that they don't question him. They ignore things that they don't want to see. Where I just can't do that. Where overall, I think he's done fantastic things on every scale, and he's been better than Democrats. But I've already seen Trump do like 5-10 things that were totally wrong, but I'm the only one who cares. Other people, they have cognitive dissonance, and the game that they play is, let's only look at good things. If it's bad, we'll pretend like it's good and make up a new thing. And if it's something completely outside what I want to happen, I just ignore it completely. You get what I'm saying? To me, that's totally dishonest, and that's why so many people don't stand up for themselves. But I've watched him pass anti-First Amendment executive orders. I've watched him pass spending bills that are awful, that include, Planned Parenthood funding and gun control funding that he said he'd never sign, but he signed it again. I've seen him, do stuff like that. But overall, I wasn't pumped about it, but it wasn't like what happened now. So I think overall, the grade I would have gave him, I would have gave him an A before this. And, now he just went from like a 9.5 out of 10 to like a 1. This is terrible what's going on right now. So I think it's kind of a big deal. I'm not going to blame him for everything, but at any day now he could come around and stop it. That Someone said Trump's a broken record. I'm even a supporter of him. You start to notice too, like with Bernie Sanders, the 2016. I started noticing he said the same couple of things on loop. Bernie would say he's like a pull string doll. You pull Bernie's back, and he says, "We must defeat the 1%," and then he says, "Sweden and Germany has a health care." It's the same 5 phrases, and he repeats them, and then his supporters repeat them and repeat them and repeat them. And it could happen on the right wing a little bit too. They have catchphrases and they just kind of repeat themselves. But I think Trump has always done a better job of being more off the cuff. I think, like, to me, he's always been, even now, on Trump's worst day, he's more off the cuff than anybody. You don't see that in politics. You just see a bunch of script. But Trump, he's always just saying anything. I actually enjoy it. Some people say he shouldn't say that. I'm like, he should say that all the time. I've never had a problem with that. So I think he's more off the cuff, but things could get repetitive. Someone said, Alyssa said you're a breath of fresh air. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it, Ben. Someone said, even the SEAL Crenshaw is a red flag advocate. Guys, these are the things that are not popular to say, but I say them anyway. I think Dan Crenshaw is, I'm going to give him a compliment first before I say reality. I think he's one of the most impressive Republicans there is. I think he's well-spoken. He knows how to handle himself in interviews. He's calm. He's by far, out of all the new Republicans, he's by far top 3 of the most impressive. Him, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, they're in a league of their own when it comes to knowing how to talk, So Dan Crenshaw does a phenomenal job. He's terrible on the first 2 amendments, which are like conservative cornerstones. He believes in red flag laws, or at least he semi-advocated for them at a certain point, which Dan should know. It's a good in theory. I think even Shapiro was pro-red flag laws. In theory, it's great. Let's take guns away from mentally ill people. But the government always screws up. They're not going to be able to pinpoint the right people. They're going to broaden that list and broaden that list and broaden that list. And absolutely, the Second Amendment is going to be destroyed when they implement red flag laws. It's not because it's not a good idea. In theory, it's a great idea. But you got to know, especially as a Republican, how it's going to be used against us. So me personally, I don't support red flag laws at all for that reason. Do I want them to take away guns from certain people? In theory. But that's not how it's going to work. And you got to know that. It's really easy. So overall, he's not good on the Second Amendment, and Crenshaw's terrible on the First Amendment. Guys, most Republicans believe in anti-First Amendment, anti-Semitism laws, and if you ask them a question on it, someone asked a question, really well spoken, he explained, he said, Dan, he said, I believe in the First Amendment, you believe in anti-First Amendment executive orders, speech laws, for anti-Semitism laws. And Dan Crenshaw, look, it was a totally normal question. It's like I always say, listen, I'm not a hateful guy. I like Christians. I have no problem with Muslims, Jewish people. Just, follow the law, do your thing. It's all love. It's all love. Every race, every religion, it's all love for me. But I just don't believe in speech laws. I don't believe in political correctness. I don't believe in the snowflake culture. I don't believe in a country where certain people need special laws and executive orders to protect them. I think it's absolutely tyrannical, and it always backfires. Simple First Amendment stance that I have. But Crenshaw doesn't support the First Amendment, and if you ask him why he doesn't, he calls you an anti-Semite. So overall, the most impressive, Republican, Dan Crenshaw, he is massively impressive. He's not even good on the first 2 amendments. This is the type of stuff that people don't want to face. But when you don't realize that all of your leaders aren't good at standing up for what they claim to, that's why these things are going to happen. So someone said, is this an old video? They had events in like November, December, where someone asked a question about the BDS protest laws and the anti-Semitism speech laws, and Crenshaw called them an anti-Semite, and he said, I know you guys are the anti-Semites, you guys just cloak yourself in the First Amendment's not a cloak, bro. The First Amendment's are right. So it's pretty whack. Someone said, I don't believe in political correctness. It's all a lie, guys. And the irony that I've always pointed out, and it's important to understand, there's a reason hate increases when you do stuff like that. You can't the inevitable. For instance, there's going to be certain black people that like each other more than they like white people. There's going to be white people that feel that way, Asian people that feel that way, Japanese feel that way, and then there's going to be well-traveled people that really don't care, like myself and others. I see certain trends, and I don't lie to myself about certain trends, but listen, at this point, if you're a good person, and I like good people of all kinds but however, people pass these speech laws to stop statistics. For instance, you could look at certain areas and crime, and who's doing the crime, they don't want to talk about it, so they pass speech laws to stop you from talking about it. Does that change the crime demographics? It doesn't change the crime demographics. It just stops people from talking about it, so they actually get more racist because they're not allowed to say the truth. It's the same with anti-Semitism laws. There's certain trends that are happening in media and banking and such that are just statistically a fact. And trying to prevent people from talking about it is only going to make people hate certain people more. So you can't stop people from saying that. You could say diversity is amazing and everybody loves each other, but if you put a Jewish store owner in the middle of a black neighborhood that has a high crime rate, they're gonna get in trouble eventually, And if you've ever been to certain areas in New York City where the owner of the store is Asian or Jewish or Indian, people do not necessarily treat them very well. It's obvious. So they can lie about diversity all they want, but reality is going to hit. They could stop people from saying that it's true, but what would help people, in my perspective, is just being honest about everything. But they're not honest. They have to pass political correct laws to stop people from noticing trends in certain communities. It only makes people hate. So the Crenshaw and the Trump and the Republican theory of how to stop anti-Semitism and the ADL, honestly, they're all wrong. They're only increasing the hate, and it's disappointing. Someone said, who cares about COVID-19? Someone said they took our history away, our statues. Yeah, they changed the history. They alter everything. I had a debate the other day, on Twitch, and he asked me about Louis Farrakhan. And this is something that's controversial because, listen, I disagree with him on quite a lot. We're different politically, we're different socially, we have a different religion. It's not that much that we have in common. However, he was trying to ask me what I thought about his book, and he has a book about slavery and the connection between, the black community and the Jewish community throughout history. And he asked me, do you think this book is anti-Semitic? And I said, that book has actually been banned on Amazon. So you can't even buy that book anymore. They're burning that book, essentially, saying you can't even read that. And I told him, I'm not going to say it's anti-Semitic because that's the trap. Do I agree with everything that Farrakhan says in the book or in general? Probably not. However, I'm not going to call a book racist when it just got banned because I haven't even read it. And there's thousands of books about white slavery. There's thousands of books about, America and their involvement in slavery. But how many books are there about black involvement in slavery or Muslim in slavery in the real world today? Or Jewish involvement in slavery? I don't think there's very many. So why would they delete and ban those books when they're blaming the entire history of slavery on one, ethnicity? And that's not the truth. So why would I want to ban a book? Or why would I say a book is like they ban anything they can to alter history and then put out movies and documentaries and just make people believe it. I didn't even watch the Waco documentary, but I doubt it was very accurate. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but there's like a Waco documentary. It's the same with, I was with my brother the other day and we're watching Ruby Ridge. I don't know if you watched Ruby, or heard about Ruby Ridge. It was like a big government standoff with some extreme guy in the woods or whatever. But I'm watching it, and I could just tell how biased it is. I was like, listen, this is crazy bias. And then I look, and it was from the New York Times. It's the number one thing on YouTube. It's the New York Times. And I was trying to explain to my brother, the New York Times, and he thinks I'm crazy or something. The New York Times is a massively biased organization, so they're altering history. So now all you could watch is their opinion on Ruby Ridge, and it's complete. That's how they change history. They delete books, they burn books, they delete social media accounts, they control news organizations, and then they tell you what they want to believe, and then they make it seem like the right thing. So it's like, I see the little games they play, and they absolutely control the narrative, they control history, and they control, you know, what you're allowed to and not say. That's why I'm totally against political correctness. All these people getting deleted off social media, from David Icke to, you know, whatever, Candace temporarily, other people, are they the dumbest, worst people in the world? No. Do I agree with them on everything? No. They get banned most of the time. The people getting banned are smart and say things that they don't want them to say. So David Icke, as crazy as you might think he is, would he beat Don Lemon in a debate? He would make Don Lemon look like a little child in a debate. I mean, Don Lemon is so much more dishonest than David is. It's not even close. But they'll never get to debate. Don Lemon will never get kicked off social media. Why does Don Lemon get to be there? You know, why not other black leaders, you know? Why is Farrakhan's book banned, but Don Lemon's book's not banned? Is it because Don Lemon's a way better person? No, it's because Don Lemon says what they want him to say. As soon as you're somebody who says what they don't want you to say, you get deleted. And that's why they have both parties turning against certain leaders. It's not because they're the worst of the worst. It's because on their trek of, you know, speaking freely, they said something that you're not allowed to say. Stretching out a little bit. Someone said they are giving us brilliant. Let's see. I watched it before I was in tune with politics. I haven't seen it, but I could just guess that they probably altered it. Same with, I'll give you an example. Here, I'll look it up real quick. Do you guys remember, and people think I'm crazy, but I just know how they work. Do you guys remember the Chernobyl documentary? So everybody was talking about the Chernobyl documentary, and it kind of made Russia look bad, and it made nuclear energy look bad. If you look at nuclear energy is actually one of the safer energies, but they made it look really unsafe. So I was like, all right, there's got to be an agenda. So I'm gonna go right now, and I always do this. Anytime I see a movie or a video that puts America in a bad light or seems sneaky, I just look at who wrote it, and every time there's certain patterns. Let's go. So let's see, Chernobyl, by creator. So the creator of Chernobyl is Craig Mazin. Ready? I'm going to go to his Wikipedia. Chernobyl. Mazin graduated magna cum laude with a psychology degree from Princeton. His freshman year roommate at Princeton was Ted Cruz. He is highly critical of Cruz as well as his political views and ridicules him frequently on Twitter. So the creator is a Democrat who lived with Ted Cruz and hates Ted Cruz. Okay. Let me see who wrote it. I gotta find this lady. Let's see. Where is she? Where is written by? Hold on, I'm looking real quick, guys. It's created by Craig Mazin and Joan Reck. It features a cast. Where's the writers? Production. Let's see. They took the writers off. Anyway, one of the writers, I can't find it now, but I already know because I looked it up before. One of the writers of Chernobyl is a massive Democrat who was on some Jewish California Allegiance Alliance to write to President Trump to negotiate the Iran deal. So you're talking about a documentary that tells a historical event. The creator of it was Ted Cruz's roommate, who is a Democrat who hates Ted Cruz, and one of the top writers is on a Jewish California alliance to convince Obama to sign the Iran deal. So, you know, people just watch these documentaries and be like, oh, that's what happened in Chernobyl. There's always an agenda. I think for that one, it was to get people to think nuclear energy is bad. And, all right, what does it say? I love you now, but be safe. I don't know. I love you, but be safe. Your work. I'm not sure what that means. All right. Read a few more comments and I'm going to take off. Someone said they crushed David Koresh in Waco to show what will happen to anyone who goes against the federal government. I watched it in real time as a kid. Yeah, and with that type of stuff too, they need to, in the Ruby Ridge documentary, here's the funniest part I could tell. I'm watching the New York Times Ruby Ridge thing, and they're explaining Waco and Ruby Ridge, and then they say, militias were becoming a real problem. militias are a problem for the government. Militias are not a problem for the people. They're actually put in place to protect people. So isn't that interesting? As militias are on the rise, on the rise, on the rise, Ruby Ridge, Waco, and then militias go down. It was probably all a plot to do that. Michelle said, Trump is an amazing chess player. We don't know what he's planning. Guys. My God. No comment. He's planning to leave you in the house for 3 months and lie on television to show you what communism looks like by implementing communism and still lying about it. So at a certain point, either you're just a prisoner to politics or you're an American citizen who believes in freedom. I can't help you if you're going to just like get excited. You're like, I'm so excited. I'm really excited about what he has in plan for me. So far this year, it's been pretty crazy. I was thinking maybe he was going to lock up Hillary and Podesta, but instead I got locked up. You know, half the country got locked up. Tens of millions of businesses shut down, and the Great Depression happened, and he's still lying about it today. But man, what might the future hold for this guy? It's like, guys, I can't even. It's like, man, I can't wait to see what he has in plan. So far, it was really cool. I mean, let's see. Maybe a fast vaccine, maybe more lockdowns, maybe more fake statistics. I don't know. Maybe a big boom that's never going to bring people's jobs back, and, you know, we'll see. Someone said never underestimate Trump. I'm not underestimating him. He won president. He knows exactly what he's doing, but it's not good for me right now or anybody, but whatever. Someone said, I watched Waco. It left me feeling how tyrannical our government is. Oh, that's true. That's what happened. Someone said conservatives are a vast group of people. Guys, the conservatives who actually care about what conservatives claim to care about are happy I'm saying this. The conservatives that literally choose party politics and idolizing political leaders and parties over freedom and liberty and the First Amendment, they're the only ones that are getting upset at this. So I don't think... My goodness. Someone said, brother, what if the demographics were changing so much we were going to lose Texas in this election? Maybe this is the only way to save the country. I mean, is he stopping mass migration? I mean, he said that, but I don't know how much it's actually going to happen. Maybe he sacrificed half the country so he could shut the border. I don't know. I think you should look into that a little more, but the theories just never. I mean, maybe if he just blows up 100 million people, we could stop climate change, and you know, he could just blow up 100 million people, and then we'll have 200 million people instead of 300, and then he could win the next election. I don't know. Maybe that's what he did. Maybe he sacrificed 80 million of his own citizens to stop Mexicans from coming into Texas, so he could win. Maybe. What a nice guy who would do that. Someone said, Pat said, refreshing. Was just telling my husband we need our freedom back. You would think that you would think that the people. Thank you, Pat. You would think that the people who believe in freedom would actually care about freedom, but it just gets more stunning. It's like Pavlov's dog. Bing, 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 bing. Then you take the food away and people are still drooling. They're like, but socialism sucks. No, you can't say socialism sucks anymore. You're living in communism. Yeah, but socialism sucks. Yeah, but this is worse than socialism. Yeah, but what about Sweden? Well, they're actually more free. So Trump wants to do that, right? No. He's actually critiquing freedom. He's critiquing Sweden for having too much freedom. But the bell, you rung the bell, so I have to drool now, right? I'm like, if that's what you want to do, but there's millions of us who are not going to do that. So someone said, what do you think about the mandatory vaccine? It's not even, they're going to do mandatory stuff. It's not even debatable. They already tried to do it, mostly in Democrat states, but they're pushing hard on this stuff, guys. I think it really comes down to, if you really ask me, either people are slaves and prisoners and zombies, or they're like normal, functional people. They'll do whatever you do. It's like if you're, why do you think, just to be quite honest, why do you think so many businesses hire illegal immigrants? Why do you think they do that? Why do businesses that make millions of dollars, why do they want to hire illegal immigrants? Do they really, really, really love Mexicans more than white people? No. They want to make more money, okay? They want somebody who's going to work harder for less money. Hire somebody illegal or do a H-1B visa so they can undercut other people with people who will work harder. So, as a politician, they don't care about you guys. I don't understand what you don't get. They're going to do what they're going to do, whether it's Trump, Obama, and if you're stupid enough to put up with it, they'll do it, or they'll find somebody that is. So if enough people say, I believe in freedom, you'll get freedom. If enough people say, I can't wait till what Trump has in store for me, this is so exciting, they're going to give you nothing. You're going to get nothing. You're going to get 2 years of masks and vaccines and, tyranny and communism. If that's what you want. Like, I just don't understand what there is not to get about this. Like, if I'm an employee and they're just giving me $5 an hour and I'm like, this is so good, thank you for $5 an hour. They're never going to give me $15 an hour until I say, can I get that? That's how you get more money. Jordan Peterson, before he got depressed, did whole classes on it. He's like, women make less than men because they choose different professions, but also they don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to stand firm and get a better salary, so they don't get a better salary. It's the same with America. This is a business transaction. If you want to be a prisoner, you could be a prisoner. If you're excited, that's good. It's good to enjoy your life. But if you want freedom, you'll get it. If 10 million Trump supporters say, it's so exciting watching the economy melt down, he'll do it again. He built it once, he'll build it again. You're going to get this. You're going to get tyranny, if that's what you want. I don't want it. I don't accept it. I don't care where it comes from. It's not going to happen. But someone said the wall would stop the... Guys, if you really want to look at the wall too, the wall has not been fully built. Guys, they've green-lighted so much money to countries, they could have built the wall 20 times. Between the money they've given to South America, Mexico, Israel, and, the foreign wars that they've been fighting in circles, guys, they could have built 50 walls. They're barely building any new wall. You can look at the amount of wall they've built. They've built a lot of wall where the other wall was. In certain areas, they've not really made progress. So follow Ann Coulter. She actually calls it out, and Michelle Malkin, because they're not like just cheerleaders. They actually look at it's not even, they could have built it 50 times already, guys. They think you're a joke. They just say, we build a part of... It's easy. It's so easy. They're never going to give you what you want because nobody actually wants it. They just want people to tell them it's happening when it's not. Someone said, I write in, I complain, but it's going to take a lot more people. Will they ever listen? That's it. If 10 million people said no, it wouldn't happen. If 5 million out of 10 million people say, I'm so excited for what Trump might do, it's like, why don't you look at what he did the last 2 months and the fact he's still on national lying to everybody? Like, that doesn't even remotely rub you the wrong way. It's so obvious. I don't know. Like, if you're at 10 people working the same job, who gets more money? Who gets the raise? Either the people who work harder or the people who go for it, the go-getters. Go-getters get freedom. Prisoners get prison. It's just easy. I don't know. People are like, they're treating us like sheep. It's like, why wouldn't they? I'm not even blaming Trump. It's why wouldn't he treat his support base like sheep? That's what most people are. If people demanded something, he would give it to them. You think Trump's never been in a business deal? You think every business deal Trump's ever been in, the person just said, Trump, I'm your biggest fan, walk all over me. Trump would walk all over them. That's literally what he does. I'm not saying he does that, but no one gets anything if you don't demand anything. Trump doesn't respect the business owner. Says, Trump, I'm a big fan of you. Just walk all over me, steal my company, and pay me nothing. He would do it just like anyone would do it, because why wouldn't you if that's what people are doing. Take their company, take advantage of them. Why wouldn't they? Just like Trump always talks about China. Why was China taking advantage of America? Why wouldn't they? No one was doing anything about it. It's the same with citizens. In this American business transaction, you have power. If you're like, I'm your biggest fan, I'm so excited, you're going to get nothing. You get masks, you get slavery, you get fascism, you get treated like a sheep. And honestly, at this point, you deserve it. Why wouldn't you? Like, this is literally how the world works. There's no reason for them not to treat people like sheep. People have not earned it. Max said, Trump isn't for tyranny. I can't say that word because he tells you're a little girl. The only people who get upset are the people who want to make excuses for what's happening. And I really don't care. Ronald says, you usually dig deep. You're not on this. You're just being swayed by what you see on the surface. It's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. Someone said, rule of selling, always be selling. Guys, there's no other angle to this. It's a transaction. With politicians, they do what they're allowed to do. And so many people want to allow them to do it. So why wouldn't they do it? When is this going to end? Never. Read the comment section. People are, normally, you don't know what you're talking about. It's usually you go deep on this one, but I mean, communism is okay. I mean, it's not, the governors did it. I mean, they're wearing a mask till 2022. It's like, why wouldn't they do this? What, Trump, Obama, Hillary, Bush, Fauci, Birx, doesn't matter. Why wouldn't they do this? Read the comment section. Read the comment section. You'll figure out exactly why this is happening. I've been asked this question 20 times. How do we fight this? Guys, just stop lying about it and stop making excuses. If half of Trump's fan base is like, I'm the biggest fan, you got the plan, it's like he's never going to stop. Why would he stop? Guys, when Trump goes into a business meeting, it's leverage. You have a building, I have this money. I want to buy your building. I want 10 million for it. I want 5 million. I want 20 million. I want 15 million. I want 50 million. I'll take it for 45. Deal. That's how business works, guys. You're in a business transaction right now. Your freedom is being stolen by both parties. Your right to exist and run a business doesn't exist anymore. Your freedom, First Amendment, is being walked all over. Everything that you claim that you believe in as a conservative doesn't exist anymore in this country. This is a manufactured Great Depression. And Trump's on television making up fake statistics to justify it. So you're in a business transaction. We the people, First Amendment, freedom, and Trump's the president. And there's other governors and stuff. Who goes to a business meeting being like, I'm your biggest fan, oh my goodness, dude, if everyone did that, Trump would just, hey, what do you want for your hotel? You could just have it for free because I'm a big fan. He'll take why wouldn't he take the hotel for free? Who wouldn't? It's not Trump's fault. It's your fault. So easy. The reason this is happening is because the left wing is virtually useless and half of his support base is like drooling at the mouth because they think their job as an American citizen is to make excuses for tyranny, communism, fascism, and complete medical psychosis. Why wouldn't this happen? It's not Trump's fault. I'm not blaming Trump. He's probably laughing hysterically. He's said it before. He's like, I could shoot somebody in the middle of the street. These people would still vote for me, which is true. He could crash the economy, tank everything, not stand up for freedom, and his supporters will be like, oh, this is my job. So obvious. This is never going to stop because so many people who support him don't want to admit that it's happening. What can we do? Just don't be like those other people. It's really obvious. Anomaly, usually you're on point, but I mean, the fact that you actually believe in the First Amendment and freedom and don't like communism, I mean, you've really become the Democrat Party now. I mean, how dare you stand up for freedom? How dare you tell the truth about statistics? How dare you do the science and math that if Trump never does, it's never going to stop because he's wrong about the death projections. He's mass testing. He's the king of ventilators, guys. That equals you never getting to go back to normal. They're going to do this again in November, whether he wins or loses, until you stand up for yourself. It is so obvious. Val said need to pull their heads out of their you-know-whats and stand. It's so easy, guys. It's so obvious. It's Pavlov's dog. Bing, 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 bing. And then people are just drooling. They're like, I mean, the freedom's gone. The communism's here. I mean, this is literally more tyrannical than anything that's happened under Obama's administration. But how dare you, Anomaly, call out Trump and say that he did anything here. I mean, he's the president, but, you know, it's the wildest thing I've ever witnessed. So, all right, Max, we could have a little debate here. So obvious. You're assigning motivations which don't exist out of fear. I have no fear. I'm not scared. I'm embarrassed for American citizens. What part of this is fear? There's 0% fear here. I'm just stating the obvious. We're living under communism. It's not like, Anomaly, you're afraid this is going to happen. It already happened. It's happening. Go to the store. Can you walk down both aisles both ways? You can't. That's called communism. Can you open your business in certain areas without getting arrested, including Republican states? No, you can't. It's already happening in Texas. That's called communism. That's called fascism. So I'm not scared of this happening. It's happening. You're scared of admitting it. It's really weird. I don't, it's like end stage brainwashing for right wingers. Like, you would think, I've had debates, I've had conversations. They've, a lot of Republicans and conservative thought leaders have been lying, but it's not a big deal. Whatever, they're wrong about something. This is like end stage right wing brainwash. It's like communism, tyranny. Guys, this is more insane than anything Bill Clinton and Barack Obama ever did combined. What you're living through, and you're afraid that something's going to happen. It's literally happening. I just can't even fathom, like, what did you watch in your phone or on your TV to make you think that this is not happening? Like, what do I think about the weapon ban in Canada? I think it's tyrannical. And, it's like every country's stealing freedom to a certain extent, and it's all whack. Someone said 480 businesses in Texas were cited yesterday, but we're still open. Sherry said it's not Trump's fault. He just listened to the wrong people. Sherry, that's an acceptable comment. We appreciate it. I would say listening to the wrong people is Trump's fault, since he listened to them and put them on television and implemented what they said and extended the lockdown. I would say that's his fault, but, I appreciate you at least meeting me halfway down the road. I do think he listened to the wrong people, but, I mean, is that how things work now? If Trump listened to the wrong people and started a war in Syria, is that not Trump's fault? I don't, why... Why do people think that their job is to, be a PR team for Trump? If Trump listened to the wrong people and destroyed the economy, it's kind of his fault. But, I mean, we could say it's not his fault, but... when he does anything, and when he listens to the right people, it's his job. He did a good job. But when he listens to the wrong people and causes a Great Depression, it's not his fault. Someone said, I blame governors, not Trump. Yeah, that's acceptable. Someone said, we don't live in Egypt, but a lot of people are in denial. That's a good comment. Someone said, if Trump doesn't listen to the experts, they will use this to steal the election. Lose. Has anybody seen the video by Judy Mikovits? Confirms everything you say, Anomaly. Yeah, I'm listening to everybody. Judy Mikovits, phenomenal. Go watch her videos. Dr. Buttar, Dr. Shiva, I know they're all fighting with each other, but I still like them all. Guys, I'm tapped in. Judy Mikovits is on fire. That's if you get close to the truth. She actually likes Trump too, but it's like at a certain point, what's real is real, what's not is not. Judy Mikovits is not a PR team for Trump. She just goes out there, says what she knows, and says the truth. If Trump chooses to repeat it, that's fine. If Trump doesn't, it's not your job. Where on your job description does it say, I work to make excuses for Trump? It's not even my job, and it's a lot closer to my job. You see this stream? Getting less stars than ever. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this is not profitable for me to do this. But I legitimately don't care. Someone said, I think Trump has a no-win situation. Always has a no-win situation, and you're absolutely right, James. That's a great. You can say things that make sense and make good statements for Trump, being like, he's in a lose-lose. That's a fact. That's right. You're correct. Someone said, I don't think people are being a PR team, but denial is running rampant. Who wants to believe? I'm going to read that. Martha said, I don't think people are a PR team, but denial is running rampant. Who wants to believe the worst is happening right before us? That's too terrifying. It's more terrifying. I hear you. I think that's right. That's a great comment. But it's to me, it's more terrifying that it's happening and no one realizes it. It's not that scary because you can do something about it. We could do something about it. We can't do anything about it if everyone's too terrified to admit it's happening. Like, if your house is burning down, sit in your house because you're too terrified to move because you don't want to believe the house is burning, so you just stand there and tell everybody it's not burning. That's suicide. So I get the theory, but that doesn't make it acceptable. It's like, to me, what's scary is what's literally happening. So people won't admit what's happening because they don't want to think it's happening. That is denial. But in what way is that even remotely not scary? Like, it's so weird. Someone said, who's winning 2020 and why are Democrats in denial? The big powers are winning in 2020, guys. The top of the pyramid is going to win in 2020, no matter which way you vote. But Trump's probably going to win because he's a better candidate. Joe Biden is senile, and the Democratic Party stands for nothing, so they're probably going to lose. However, there's certain decisions that will be made regardless of who wins, and no one will ever seem to care. It's okay. Gia said, some of us really get it. So many are little sheep. I hear you. Trump is hoping to hold on to loyal supporters while trying to appease the other side for votes. He's never going to win over people who don't know what he's doing. At this point, it's like, if you're going to tank half the country to get Democratic votes, you're not the right guy. So I hear what you're saying, but he's definitely playing a game of politics, but also he let bad people run the country into the ground. Someone said, listen to Judy Mikovits. You should do it. Listen to her talk about Fauci. He let those people run the country into the ground. Why he did it, you could speculate, but it's unacceptable. Sonia said, I'm conservative, have friends on both sides. Hold on. Have friends on both sides and have been bashed for asking an opening, standing up for the Constitution. Voted for Trump, but big time disappointed with him. I hear you, Sonia. God bless you. CR said, what do we do to stand up against tyranny? I mean, on multiple levels, there's so much you could do, but I think the minimum people could do, that's all I ask for, because I can't really advocate for anything else. Unfortunately, this is not a free country anymore, guys, so 3 months ago, if I advocate that people stand up for the First Amendment, I can do it, because America was semi-free. Now, if I advocate for people to stand up for the First Amendment and the right to protest, guess what happens? They delete my video because we don't live in a free country anymore. It's been sold out on both sides. So I think the minimum people could do is just don't lie to yourself and don't make excuses for what's happening. It's literally that simple. And if everyone did that, this would have been over a week ago. It's not people like me that hold Trump back or hold the Republicans back. It's the complacency, lying, PR team, denial people. Those are the people that are holding us back, because we don't even have to leave our houses. If everybody spoke up, even on social media, in unison, it would be over. We already would have beaten this yesterday. In Massachusetts, they've protested yesterday. There was a huge protest in Massachusetts. They're doing it in Michigan. They're doing it in California. It's going to keep growing, because that's what's going to happen when you do what the government did. And, it is what it is. So, all right, I'm gonna read Arlene. She's very upset. Let's see. What's up, Arlene? Arlene said, you're talking out of two sides of your mouth. You say you don't blame Trump. Then when someone else says that you blame Trump, you say, yes, you can. I'm saying in general, when it comes to citizens, I'm saying a huge portion of it is on the citizens. I'm sorry if it's hard to hear what I'm saying. But anyway, overall, I just think Trump is a businessman and he does business. So if one side of the business transaction is a pushover, he's going to take full advantage of that, as would anybody in business. Why wouldn't you? So I think a large part of it is his support base and people who accept it. But in many ways, as far as the shutdown, is he completely innocent? Does he take zero blame in what happened on the government level? No, that's true. He should take some blame. He extended the shutdown. He put Dr. Fauci in there. He did all this stuff. But I'm saying it's his supporters' fault just as much as his. So does he take 0% of the blame? No, that's a lie. That's only what, in denial supporters will say, because they don't want to admit that he ever did anything wrong. He definitely has that. But on a scale, the point I'm talking about, not to speak out of both sides of my mouth, but on that scale, those people have every right to deceive you, and they have every right to do it, because why wouldn't they? I mean, if you're that easy, why? I think it's mostly on his support base, but when it comes to what happened, I think he's responsible. Sean said he got blindsided by a biological psyop. He is getting control. Be positive. Hashem is in control. The unique, eternal, unchangeable Father of all spirits. Take a chill. All right. I like that comment, Sean. I like the chill comment, but it's just sad to me, but whatever. Someone said, hate hearing POTUS talk about a vaccine. Yeah, he's obsessed with it. He's greenlighting and fast-tracking vaccines. Guys, it doesn't, the people that say Trump is in control, they don't even want to admit all the other stuff that he's doing. He's going to do stuff that benefits him and what he has to do to stay there. It doesn't necessarily benefit. It's all so obvious to me, but whatever. His math is wrong, his science is wrong, his predictions are wrong, his solution is wrong, the fact that he's fast-tracking the vaccine is wrong. It's all wrong. So if he's in control, doing all the wrong things, why do I care? The reason I don't want Joe Biden to win is because I don't want the country to collapse. If Trump collapses the country and can't tell the truth when the country's collapsed and does 5 out of 5 things wrong from the vaccine, fast-tracking it, can't tell the truth, thinks freedom's bad now and Sweden's doing a bad job, what's the point, guys? I don't care that he's in control. So he's a tyrant, okay? And this someone I got a bad anomaly, you called Trump a tyrant. This is tyranny, and he's supporting it, and he's justifying it, and so are you. So at this point, why put a conservative or a Republican next to your name? It means nothing. It's just a little flag to take to a Charlie Kirk event so, people like you and want to be friends with you. It doesn't mean anything. If you're not actually believing in the freedoms you claim to, it's just a show. It's just a pin. It's just a sticker to mean nothing. It means nothing. Someone said because Fauci and Gates told him to. Either he got deceived or he just did that. I don't know. I don't care. Someone said you need to watch the microchip New World Order. Sounds terrible, but it sounds believable at this point. Someone said Facebook will start messing with you. I don't know. They'll be fine. I can't. I just feel like. Someone said, optics, people, he's always been against the vaccine. Guys, it's all optics. It's like end-stage brainwashing. I have to laugh or else I'm just going to cry. He's fast-tracking vaccines for optics. He's funding Johnson & Johnson $500 million, guys. That's what his White House is doing. It's all optics. Nothing says calling out the vaccine industry like funding them and fast-tracking them past the regulations that virtually don't even really exist in the first place anyway. So it's just optics, guys. It's optics, communism optics. Nothing screams I want to win an election like causing a Great Depression and ruining the biggest accomplishment that you just marched around the country for 3 years doing. Black unemployment's down, Hispanic unemployment's down, socialism sucks. It's been his message all year, but he just implemented communism to expose the communists, and he's fast-tracking past regulations that virtually don't exist for optics. Just imagine lying to yourself that much. I don't know. I'm going to enjoy my day and ignore all of this, but it's just like, when do people stop? They're never going to stop. There's no end game to this brainwashing. It's like, he's doing it for optics. He's secret. No, guys, when Chuck Schumer said he was for illegal immigration, and then he's against illegal immigration. Is it for optics? Yeah, but at a certain point, do you want the truth, or do you want someone who lies to you? Trump has never lied like this. He doesn't just stand up there and lie all the time. You liked him because he told the truth, even when it wasn't popular. So now you're justifying his lies for optics? Guys, it's pathetic. It's the reason people, like, why even pretend like you're free? Just, instead of getting a Republican badge, just get a slave badge. Say, I'm a slave, Trump is my daddy, and I'll make excuses for him. It's like, what's the point of even being a citizen? Burroughs, I'm going to read this. Burroughs said, I'm following you today. Your wish-washiness is getting old. You have gotten a point. Your fame is skewing what used to be your best assets. Hope to get you back soon. Guys, I feel like Roseanne on Jimmy Kimmel. When Roseanne was on Jimmy Kimmel, he said, Roseanne, you used to be one of us. What happened? And Roseanne said, I haven't moved. I still believe in what I used to. You guys went so far off, you lost everybody. And Jimmy Kimmel said, you have a point there. There's no difference of what I'm doing now. I'm just actually standing up for what conservatives pretend to believe in. Guys, this is communism. You're living in a fascist, communistic, medical slave state, and I just say I like freedom. Anomaly, we've lost you to your fame. Guys, this isn't popular to say. I know this isn't popular. I don't care about popularity. I don't care about fame. Do you think I couldn't get fame if I threw on a MAGA hat and went on an airplane? Trump would retweet me every other week, guys. I don't care. It's like, Anomaly, I mean, you know, when you said you liked freedom 3 months ago, I really believed you because Trump wanted freedom. But now that we live in a communist medical tyranny state, I mean, the fact that you still claim you want freedom and you don't understand that when you lose your freedom, it's all optics, I mean, you're too wishy-washy. The fame got to your head. Yeah, it's all the fame. Now all of a sudden, you know, I don't know. I felt the same way in November about medical tyranny. I made videos about how they were going to force people to take vaccines. And now I'm doing the same thing, but it's just optics. I mean, Trump used to agree with you, but now he's lying on television for the optics to, you know, lie to people to tell them the truth later. It's like, guys, give it up. Give it up. It's like wildly... There's nothing different about what I'm saying. Someone said we lost our country and people can't see it. It ends tomorrow if people just stop denying. It's so easy. It's so easy. This wouldn't exist if people just stop denying. I'm going to read the negative comments because Bill said, dude, your immaturity is really showing today. Trump has been walking on thin ice, I think you meant to say, for 3 years now. Cut him some slack. As he sinks, we all sink. Guys, the country has sunk, okay? So either you stand up for the country that is in communism or you don't. I'm not 100% saying everything is Trump's fault. Biden's going to be better. No, Biden sucks. The people Trump listened to sucks. He's still the best option, but the best option is not good enough. If you live in a communist state, this is not good enough. Killing the health of millions of people, destroying their businesses, destroying the immune system of people for 3 months. This isn't fucking, sorry to curse, this is not good enough. If this is good enough for you, you're a slave. Just admit it. What part of this is good enough for you? He's doing this is not the best. This is not good enough. So if this is the best he can do, it's time to stand up for your country and stop making excuses for this crap. Doesn't matter if he's not responsible or it's not fully his fault. This is not okay. This is not good enough. This is not even remotely acceptable. Guys, this isn't even comparable to the crash of 2008. This is worse than the Great Depression was, guys, and it's going to keep getting worse. Like, what part of this don't you understand? This is the worst crisis in 150 freaking years, and you're like, well, he's on thin ice, so this is okay. No, this is why it happens, because people don't believe in anything they claim to believe in. I'm not attacking him. It's all Trump's fault. Trump needs to go down. I'm not saying that. He's the president. He's not doing enough, and quite frankly, no one's doing enough. It's insanity, guys, and this is why it's going to happen. At this point, just pack it in. If this is your attitude, pack it in. You're never going back. If you want to actually stand up for something, then you could have it tomorrow if you just stop making excuses for this. It's so obvious. It's just like ridiculous. Someone said, what do we do? I'm going to leave in a second. I've said it 50,000 times. Just stop lying about it. That's all people have to do. If 60% of people lie about it, it's never going to change. If everybody makes excuses, all you have to do, just sit there and stop lying about it. That's all. If you're doing that, you're already doing more than apparently half of the people who follow me. No one wants to hold anybody accountable. It's like, what part of this is good enough, guys? This is not a slight disagreement. This is the worst crisis that the country's faced since the Great Depression, and it's only getting worse, and he's still lying about it. If he's on thin ice, then rearrange. You have to say to whoever's controlling Trump, this is not good enough, or else it's going to happen. Oh my goodness. Someone said it's only going to get better if we stand up for ourselves. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's harder lying about it. You're only ruining things, guys, for everybody. Someone said, guess who we put on the coronavirus task force, Ivanka and Jared? Yeah, of course. But people don't want to look into that stuff because Ivanka Trump's going to win in 2030. Yeah, just keep telling yourself, Barron Trump's going to win in 2024. People just make up their own fake world that they live in and just let the entire world crumble around them. Yeah, you could look at Jared's stances on a lot of stuff. It's nothing like the MAGA base, but they don't care. Most people don't care. Michelle Malkin cares. I care. A few people care, but most people don't care. Is Pavlov's dog. We'll just move the goalposts and you'll just drool and do what we say. Someone said, do meditations with Wayne Dwyer. That sounds like a good idea. Christy said, the comments are exactly what you're saying. Support under every circumstance, deny excuses, cognitive dissonance. It's like, at what point? Wendy said, I'm 72 years old. I've been going out. Do not wear a face mask. I refuse to live in fear. Wendy, you're a legend. God bless you. I hear you. I'm trying not to get frustrated, but it's like, I couldn't have possibly been more clear today. It's so simple. Toby said, don't burst your brain trying to get them to agree. You'll lose your sanity. Toby, that might be the best comment of the day. Thank you, brother. That's a fact. That's the real point. So I said, at this point, I think only a civil war will take care of the problem. Yeah, but it's not even going to happen because half of the people that are supposed to be on your team legitimately don't care. Guys, the people at the top are not stupid. They know if they can get 80% of conservatives to do nothing, they'll do it for the next 10 years. They'll give you the next Dan Crenshaw or somebody. They know how to work people. It's like if they can convince capitalist conservatives to be communists, then why would they? I mean, the answer is obvious. They're not even going to let Joe Biden win, probably, because if Joe Biden wins, the country is going to spiral out of control and people are going to get pissed off. They're probably going to pick Trump for 4 more years because a Biden victory means everyone's pissed off and everyone's united. Now people are divided. Under a Biden, Bernie people are pissed off. All Trump people are pissed off. You think if Joe Biden was the president and did this, that people would put up with it? People would not put up with Joe Biden doing this. People would not put up with Barack Obama doing this. If Hillary Clinton did what Trump did, are you kidding me? There would have been riots in the street already. But because it's Donald Trump, he's got 80% of his own supporters, drooling over communism and a lack of freedom. So they're going to keep doing this because it doesn't come from one person. It comes from the people. And if in the business transaction, this is what people want, this is what you're going to get, this is what you're okay with, why would they stop doing it? Someone said you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's a fact. Someone said we live in a republic and we the people failed our founders. Absolutely. So I don't mean to speak out of both sides of my mouth. When I say Trump has responsibility, he absolutely has responsibility in this. And when I say it's more the people's fault than Trump, I'm not placing all the blame on him. Fauci, he put him there, whatever. But also us. It's our fault. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington are probably like cringing. They're like, nowhere did we write, if Donald Trump wins president, communism's okay. If Donald Trump does it and you love Donald Trump, just give your freedom away. Just fast track that vaccine for optics. Like, Thomas Jefferson's probably looking at this being like, guys, he's one person. You can't just give up the whole republic because you like one guy. Biden's not going to win. And honestly, if they're stupid enough, you're going to see a revolution way faster. You know, Donald Trump is going to appease people till 2024. He'll be the guy. He'll put in the new internet connection. He'll do the fast tracking of the vaccines. If Hillary did that, people would be freaking out. If this was Joe Biden, protests would be 10 times as big. But, you know, involved, it's going to appease 20 million people. Like, I'm excited about what Trump might do. I can't wait to see what he'll do next. It's like, it's so obvious. Someone said, why did he put Fauci there? He could have picked someone else. That's a good question. But people are literally trying to say he's exposing Fauci. He put Fauci there. He hired him for the coronavirus task force. He put him on television every day. He listened to him. He took his advice. He shut the country down for 45 days. And he did that to expose him. I mean, this is going to be my last stream. I don't even want to stream anymore. If that's what people are saying, I'm taking a break. Because I don't, there's no point for me to even be here. It's just like, so pathetic. It's ridiculous. Video interrupted? Yes, the internet connection. My goodness. Someone said, I'm worried about the mandatory vaccine. That's going to be another, I mean, at a certain point, you know, there's no reason to really get upset because at the end of the day, it's just going to keep getting to the point where people can't ignore it anymore. But the thing that concerns me, people can ignore this. Like, I'm not even talking about some of you guys, but like when I say this stuff on Twitter, there's people who don't even think this is like even happening. Like I explain, and they're like, they literally made up a new theory now that he's actually saving the economy, that he's like stimulating the economy. I'm not joking. It's one thing to think he's in control or something. It's one thing to think he's messing up, or it's a whole nother thing to create a whole new world where the economy is being stimulated. It's not real. It doesn't exist. But like, you just block out reality and say, you know what? I'm just going to think that the economy is being stimulated. Like, this is what people are thinking, which is leading me to believe something's going on. Like somebody's lying to these people. I don't know who they're listening to or where they got this from, but it's like, it's the most, so the point I'm getting to is as things get worse and worse and worse, at what point do people stop doing this? Do they never stop? Do more people wake up when, you know, it gets closer? I would like to put an end to it sooner than later, because if we wait for a year, you know, that's not the play. All right, I'm gonna take off, guys. God bless you. We'll see. I might take a week off or something. I don't know. Maybe not. I'll probably do some work. But I'm getting tired of. I mean, I think most people get it, but the cognitive dissonance and the accusations towards myself of being a Democrat and a liberal for believing in what conservatives pretend to believe in. They don't believe in anything they claim to believe in. They don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in prosperity. They don't believe in liberty. They believe in making excuses for this. And if you say otherwise, it's optics. Guys, I have no more energy for this stuff. Well, why is he doing this? Oh, he's doing it to not do it. He did it to not do it. It's just optics. So when he tells the truth all the time and says whatever he wants, he'll call someone, he'll call someone a disgusting SOB. He'll say he's a psycho. He'll say anything. But, he'll lie to you about vaccines because he's secretly telling you the truth about vaccines. It's like the amount of cognitive dissonance is just pointless. I mean, someone said, I never thought Trump would give out $1 trillion in stimulus checks. It's just no point. All right. I'll see you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. It's pathetic. And every day this goes on, it's affecting tens of millions of people. And the people that justify it, they're going to be complicit. All right. Take care, guys. I'll be back at some point, but overall, there's no point.